I was actually still in school, was still working at Buffalo Wild Wings. I was stuck on not dropping out. I was like, yeah, I'm not dropping out. That's ridiculous. So then I met Stanley Smith. He was already making about 80,000 to 100,000. I'm like, you're 21. That's awesome. I had sold one policy with you guys.
You sold one policy and knew that this was it.
I just saw the vision from there, and that's what made me drop out.
You had convention?
Yes.
Yeah. How was convention?
Oh, it was awesome.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it was really cool to see like people's success in the business.
Yeah. Was that your first event with us?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you started after convention last year?
Yes.
Got it. So you've been with us 7 months now?
Yeah.
7 months, starting September of last year. What were you doing before this, Kayla?
So I was actually in school for law, and I was actually I worked part-time at Buffalo Wild Wings as a waitress as well.
Got it. Can I tell you something about Buffalo Wild Wings?
What?
I hate their food. I just do. I don't know. I'd rather have Wingstop, to be honest.
Okay, me too, though.
Wingstop's better than Buffalo. Okay.
Wingstop is better.
All right, so we're on the same page there. So you're working at Buffalo Wild Wings, and how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, so you were 20 at the time?
Yes.
Buffalo Wild Wings, in school for law. Mm-hmm. What was your plan? Like, what did you want to do with the law degree?
So I actually wanted to change people's lives. I just saw a lot of injustices happening in, like, just America overall.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm just going to go there and change things.
Okay.
Make an impact.
Got it. Anyone in your family in law, or were you kind of the first one pursuing that?
I was going to be the first one.
Gotcha. Okay. And you're from Chicago, well, suburbs of Chicago.
Yes.
Growing up. What was it like growing up there?
I was always moving around.
Okay.
So, like, different parts had different effects on me. But for the most part, I grew up in Elgin. It was nice over there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw a note here. You said you had to live in cars at one point.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
How old were you?
I was about 12, 13 years old.
Okay. Why? What happened?
So my dad had lost his job at the age of 10, and then he just never got to find a job after that.
Got it.
So, like, kind of just trickled down to us as well.
Yeah. And you had brothers and sisters, too?
Yes, youngest of 7.
7 of y'all living in a car?
Two of them were really older.
Okay.
But it was, like, so 5 of us, like, grew up together.
Yeah.
So it was, like, 5 of us plus my parents.
Gotcha.
In a car.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you remember this?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was, I didn't realize how much it had affected me until, like, even now, like, dealing with the childhood trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
But it definitely did take a toll now that I, like, am
now looking
older.
back,
Looking back, yeah.
What was your dad doing for work before that?
He worked at Johnson Publishing office. I don't know exactly what he did. It has something to do with the computers, a programmer, something like that.
A pretty good job.
Really good job, yeah.
Yep. And what, company closed? Why did he lose it?
So the company had closed, and then also not only that, he had gotten really sick. He was on dialysis.
Okay.
So it's just like, yeah.
Wow, it's too bad. So fast forward, you're in school, you're pursuing this law degree. How do you end up selling life insurance?
So one day I was with my friend. I go to this guy's penthouse because she was dating him, and I'm like, hold on, Raphael, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
He's like, I sell life insurance. And then I was like, no, because I sell life insurance, and we're both 20 years old. That's not possible.
So you were already selling?
Yeah, well, I didn't make any money.
To. Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you find the other company?
My boyfriend's dad worked there.
Got it.
Yes.
Was he making money?
Yeah, he was making money.
Okay.
But I feel like it's because he knows everyone.
Yeah, you got to have a big warm market.
Yeah, yeah.
How come you didn't make any money there?
It's just the systems, the leadership.
Yeah.
The leadership was there. It's just the systems wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leads, or what was lead?
There was no leads. Like, you had to go out and actually, like, knock on people's doors.
Yeah. Wow.
And like, hey, this is Kayla.
Yeah. I'm assuming you didn't like that.
No.
No. How long did you do that for?
I did it for about, I want to say, a month to 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And didn't see any money besides my mom's policy.
Oh, so you wrote a policy on your mom.
Yeah.
Nice. And you're just, what would they drop you off, like, or give you some addresses to go random door knock? Were you cold calling, or?
It was just warm market.
Warm market.
Yes.
Okay.
Warm market. You had to call up your parents, friends, aunties.
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
Got it. Got it. So you did that for how long?
About 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Okay. How did the connection with FFL come in?
Oh, okay. So Raph,
Yeah.
I was at his penthouse, and I was like, okay, I see the penthouse.
Somebody
I see the
somewhere.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he recruited me because of the penthouse.
Got it. So you saw the penthouse and figured, well, she's probably making money.
Yeah.
Now, were you still in school? Did you drop out? Like, what happened next?
Yeah, I was actually still in school.
Yeah.
I was still working at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
And I was stuck on not dropping out. I was like, yeah, I'm not dropping out. That's ridiculous. Whatever the case was. And then I met Stanley Smith.
Okay.
And he was already making about 80,000 to 100,000 passively income. So I was like, whoa. I'm like, you're 21. That's awesome.
Right.
So I just saw the vision from there, and that's what made me drop out.
Got it. Were you already selling with us, or did you just kind of drop out on blind faith? And
I had sold one policy with you guys.
you sold one policy and knew that this was it.
Yes.
How?
It was just, man, I walked in the office, and there's so many young people in our office. That's one thing I love about the agency that I'm with.
Okay.
We're all about 18 to 23 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just saw everyone making sale after sale after sale after sale. And I was like, if they can do it, why can't I?
Right.
So, yeah.
And the complete opposite of where you came from.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was it like? So you said you sold one policy, then you dropped out of school. You quit your job too?
Yes.
Yes. Anyone around you give you any shit like, Kayla, what are you doing? This is crazy, or was everyone supportive?
Actually, my parents were the most supportive people.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like, Kayla, if you see the vision in this, we got your back 100.
Okay.
Do what you can do.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, go back to school. But you're young, try it, see if it works.
Got it. And how is it going? Because you didn't really have a sales background, right? I mean, you sold a little bit at the other company, but you're in school, you're at Buffalo Wild Wings. What was it like getting into sales for the first time, for real?
I would say it was a little challenging at first.
Okay.
I did see a lot of success very quickly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a mental toughness game.
Absolutely.
Getting, hung up after time after time after time. It sometimes will take a toll on you.
Yeah.
So I would say it's just, you just have to be mental.
What was the biggest challenge early on for you?
I would say making sales consistently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Why you weren't consistent in the beginning?
No, I was not.
Was it work ethic? Was it mindset? What was it?
I would say it was not work ethic, not mindset. It was the structure of my calls.
Okay.
So once I got the structure of my calls down and I knew what I was saying, I was confident in what I was saying.
Yeah.
That's when I started to make sales consistently every single day.
Got it. Before you had that structure down, what would happen on the call?
It's like, it just was everywhere. I'd be like, hey, this is Kayla. And then I'm talking about prices as soon. I'm like, you got to build value, girl.
Right. So, that don't work. Yeah. How long did that go on before you kind of figured it out?
I want to say about a month.
Okay. So pretty quick.
Yes.
What was your activity like at that point? Like, because everyone, there's a learning curve for everyone. And I always say it's a matter of, do you want to make that learning curve short or long, right? And it just comes down to how much work you're going to put in. What was your schedule like day one? Like, how many appointments were you running a day?
I would say I wasn't running, I was about 10 appointments probably.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wasn't really running many appointments, but I made about, I want to say 800 to 1,000 dials.
Got it.
Yeah, single dials.
And you were doing telesales?
Yes.
And were you doing one call close or setting up appointments?
One call close.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were a lot of activity, but just about 10 or so appointments a day.
Yes.
Of those 10, how many would you close early on?
I would say about one.
Really? What were you thinking at that point? Because, you left your job, you left school, you had this kind of dream of doing this one thing. Then you're here, and now you're like, I'm meeting with 10 people and only closing one. Was it still more money than what you were making at Buffalo?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, but it didn't stop me. I just saw it as like a push forward. A setback is always a push forward. You know? So when I didn't make a sale, I didn't go home and was like, okay, like this isn't for me. No, I just worked hard.
Yeah. And were you in the office?
So we had moved down to Texas actually.
Okay.
Because my upline, he went down to Texas, and then, we don't really change upline. So I went down to Texas with him.
Really?
For about 3 months, 3 to 4 months.
What was that like?
It was crazy. I'd never been to Texas before.
Yeah.
And, that's when people were calling me a little crazy because it's like, hold on, you're dropping out of school and going to Texas?
Okay, so they were supporting you, but now like, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Yeah. So that was like the line there. But I was like, I see the vision. I just know I can do it. Like, I believe in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had an office in Texas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How important is that? Because, when I got a license 15 years ago, it was all in office. We were out in the home. We didn't have telesales. And now it's a completely different ballgame. Like, you could join us and never even meet the person you're working with face to face, right? Like, that's just how we're set up now. But how important was it for you to get to that office every day?
It's so important because the energy is just transferable throughout the whole office. So if everyone's in a good energy,
Yeah.
then everyone's making sales.
Right.
And you want to be surrounded by that.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
And especially early on when you're closing 1 out of 10, like how much does it help to know that, maybe it's Stanley or someone right next door that's closing at a higher level?
Yeah, it works. It works.
Yeah.
Like my upline, he was closing like, I want to say 5 to 10K a day. I was like, well,
wow.
Okay, if you can do it, like I said, I can do it.
Right. And that always stuck with you, that
Yes.
mindset. Yeah. It's funny because when I went to my first convention, it was 2009. Down in Dallas, Texas, different company, and Andrew Taylor,
Yes.
right? So I see Andrew Taylor on. He's a few years younger than me. At the time, he's like probably 20 years old, and they're like, "This kid used to bag groceries, and he made 6 figures last year selling insurance." And the same thing you said. I'm like, wait a minute, that kid right there, like I love Andrew. I'm like he made $100,000 selling life insurance, and he used to bag groceries. I'm like, I used to bag groceries, shit. But I'm like, if he can do it, why can't I?
There we go.
Right, but. Let me ask you this, though. Do you think anybody could do this?
Yes.
You do? Why?
I do think everyone could do it. It just comes down to your mindset.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Like, I've seen people come from terrible, shitty situations, okay, if I'm just being quite frankly honest, and they have turned it around and made something out of this. So if you have the mindset to do it, you can do it.
What stops the people that don't have success, then?
I'm telling you, it's that confidence and mindset.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that anyone could, but everybody won't, right? Like I would say it's not easy, but it's simple.
I always say that.
Right? Like
I
it is,
always
though.
say that.
It's not easy,
Yes.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
But it ain't rocket science.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're calling people up that ask for help, and you find something that fits their needs and budget.
Yes.
In a nutshell, right? What do you think? What are some of the most important things, though, about, like, I say it's simple, but there's a lot to it, right?
Yes.
Like you talked about early on, not being able to close and then figuring that piece out, structuring your call. What are some of the most important things to you on your phone call that helps you close?
Okay, so first I would say definitely being personable, likable.
Yeah.
Structuring calls to a T. And then last but not least, just making sure that you're getting their needs and wants and not just trying to get the sale. Being genuine about the sale.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Even over the phone. Like, I never sold over the phone. We were always in person. But what are some things you do to, like, in person is different. I can see you, your body language. I know how you react to things I say. Over the phone, I don't have that visual piece. How do you know you're connecting over the phone?
I would say it's their tone.
Okay.
Because your tonality is really important on your side, but it's also important on their side.
Yeah.
So if they're engaging in the phone call and, there's tied down throughout the phone call that you have to do like, oh, does that make sense? And they're answering the questions. They want to talk about their grandkids, children, whatever the case is. That gives me clues like, okay, they're engaged in the phone call.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's been the most challenging thing now that, this may be a weird question, now that you're having success, though, because, right, there's problems at every level. What's been the most challenging thing at this point? Whether it's scaling, growing, being consistent?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I think it's complacency.
Okay.
Because I came from nothing. You got to remember that. So once you get to a point where it's like you are cash flowing $10,000 a day,
right?
Stuff like that, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you can't become complacent. And I see it a lot with even my peers, sometimes even myself. You can't stop right there. You always have to strive for more and better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how do you pick up on, because I think that's spot on. Like when that complacency starts to seep in, how do you realize it and how do you stop? How do you push it away?
I realize it because when you become complacent, the people around you become complacent. If I'm leading from the front, that means my team's going to become complacent. The numbers dip.
Yeah.
So I catch it and I'm like, no, something has to change. We have to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
So from there, I just assess it and I just keep pushing forward.
Prior to getting in life insurance, what's the most you made in a year?
I think 23,000.
23,000.
Yes.
I would assume you make that most months here, probably more, right? What's been your best month here?
My best month was 70,000.
70,000 gross.
Gross, yes. 92 KIP.
Wow. And you're only, we're in June now. Do you know what you made so far this year?
Gross?
Yeah.
I think like that actually hit my bank account. I'm pretty sure it's like over 200,000.
Over 200,000, 6 months in.
Yeah.
And the most, it's 10 times what you used to make, Kayla.
That's crazy.
It is. So kind of going back to what we were just talking about, how do you stay motivated to, because like you said, I used to make 20 grand a year. Now I'm 200, right? No kids or anything, right?
No kids.
No, you're 20, 21, 20?
Yes.
21?
Yes, 21.
Okay, so you can, all right. That's the thing. We couldn't even get you a rental car. We had to like get you a lift over here because you're only 21. It's great, but how do you stay motivated when you've already done 10 times what you did previously?
Because I haven't really done anything. Like if you think about it in this grand scheme of things, what have I really done? Okay,
Right.
200,000, cool. But like there's a bigger picture of why I'm doing this. And if there's a bigger picture, I have to keep going. I don't stop because I just hit 200,000. It's about my parents. It's about the kids who don't have anything.
Yeah.
It's about my younger self who didn't have anything. So for me, it's just, you just got to keep going.
How much does that weigh into this, right? We talked a little bit about growing up. Dad lost his job, and now you and your siblings living in a car for a time period, right? How much does that, like, do you use that as motivation? Do you always think back, like, that's how it was and never want to go back?
Yeah, I feel like it's both. You know, I look back and I'm like, I never want to go back to that. And I also use it as fire. It's fuel. I add gas to that fire every single day, you know? Thinking like, if I can help someone that was in that situation today, that would be awesome.
Right.
So it's definitely fuel.
And you're building a team, right? You guys are at a little over 800,000. Or no, that was last year. Oh, no, that's right. I'm sorry. 813 as of May week 3. Right?
Yes.
So, what's that like building the teams? You've never managed anyone prior to this, right?
No.
No. How's that been?
It's been great.
Yeah.
You know, there's bad days, there's good days, but you just can't let those bad days hold you back. You know? You got to keep going. So I think it's been great, honestly.
Yeah.
But it is sometimes stressful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very
Because
stressful.
other adults are like children a lot of times.
Yes. Yes.
What's been the most rewarding part of that, though? I mean, because 800,000 means a lot of people selling life insurance.
I would say the most rewarding part is seeing people change their lives. I've had people come from really bad situations, whether their parents just didn't have the money for them to go to school.
Yeah.
They're working at Dairy Queen, have nothing to look forward to. I even had one girl who I grew up with, and she was just going through a tough time. She was in jail, and I just took her out of that situation. Now she's cash flowing money, and I'm like, man, like,
Feels good, huh?
feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it almost feel better than like you having your success? Like that's one part of it, but now knowing that you can help somebody else.
Yes, it's like 100 times better.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, yeah, I know I can do it. I know myself. I know I believe in myself. But if I can instill that belief in other people and watch them run with this, it's awesome.
What is your production goal for this year? You're at about 260, right? So far. Where do you want to finish?
I want to finish at minimum 500 to 600,000.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I'm not really that much focused on my personal production. I just want the people around me to eat.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest thing you've learned about yourself doing this?
My resilience is great. You know? Yeah.
And you didn't know that before this.
I didn't know. Well, I knew, but it's like I didn't know it was on this level.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about being a life insurance agent?
My favorite thing, I would say just helping people genuinely, because I have had people, you know, have a death claim, and it's like, wow, like actually see this come to life it's cool.
You've had, how many death claims have you had?
Just one.
Just one?
Yes.
What was that like?
I had just spoken to her. It was very, very sad. Actually, her son had called me and was like, oh, like, are you the life insurance lady? And I was like, yeah, like, what happened? He was like, oh, my mother had passed away. And she was young. She was 60.
Yeah.
You know? So, but it was, she was such a sweet lady. And I remember that phone call because she was such a sweet, she reminded me of my mom.
What was the time from you selling the policy to getting this call from her son?
It was about 4 months, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's like what was going through your mind getting that call?
I was thinking, like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually helping people.
Right.
I'm not just selling policies. I'm not just getting money. I'm changing people's lives.
Do you ever think, look back to your original goal of getting into law, helping people that way, and I guess, does this fill that void for you?
That is the reason why I dropped out, yes.
Really?
I saw the vision. I was like, well, if I'm going to have all this money,
Yeah.
I can make a change somewhere.
Right.
You know, whether it's nonprofit organization, donating money, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your goal agency for the end of the year? You're at 8 and change now.
I just know I want to be cash flowing $1 million
Okay.
IP per month.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. All right. So, Kayla, we like to do something, I guess, a little fun. It's a game called True or False. You know how this works, right? I'm going to throw out some statements at you. You're going to let me know, in your opinion, if they're true or false, okay?
Okay.
All right. Number 1, you need a high school degree to sell life insurance.
False.
False. If you've been declined in the past, you can never get coverage again.
False.
Anybody can get life insurance whenever they want.
False.
False. You should wait until you're about to die to get life insurance.
False.
Let's see. Some of the best clients are the most difficult ones to close.
True.
Insurance agents are basically undercover therapists with spreadsheets.
True.
Pretty much, right? Like, you've been on those calls where you're like, yeah, I feel like I'm this person's therapist.
Yeah.
The best way to hit Hall of Fame quickly is by writing multiple policies on your family members without their consent.
False.
False. Let's see. Get one more in here. Life insurance is just a scam for people who don't want to get a job.
False.
And last but not least, sales, you can speak to this. Sales without leads is like running through traffic blindfolded.
True.
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 It sucks,
true.
right?
Yes.
I mean, now you were trying to do friends and family, like warm market. But like you said, if you don't have a big warm market, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. You wrote one policy on your mom and then kind of tapped out.
For $300.
$300.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, you know, it's like when there's companies out there that's all they do. Mm-hmm. They recruit you, and all they want, Kayla, is your friends and family.
Right.
They could care less if you actually ever make money.
Yeah.
You know, did you feel that at the other company?
I actually did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, this is a pyramid scheme.
You felt that way, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the people at the bottom aren't making money.
Right.
But here, it's like, it's different. The people at the bottom are eating, and the people at the top are eating too.
Right. How important, like, you said it a few times about what Raph was doing, about what Stanley was doing that, you know, attracted you, kept you motivated. How important is it to lead from the front? Like, I think it's one of the biggest things, like, if you're building an agency, right? Like, how can I expect you to do something that I'm not doing?
Right.
How important is it for a brand new agent, they come here, they want to recruit, they need to learn how to sell?
It's so important to lead from the front, because we have this goal where if a new agent comes in, you know, we have to get them to sell in the first 48 hours.
Okay.
So I'm making sales, you know, they're watching me make sales, they're seeing it's possible. Not only that, but it's like, how can you ask for someone to do something when you're not doing it?
Correct.
So leading from the front is like one of the biggest things in this industry, I say, and especially if you want to have a successful business and scale it as fast as possible.
Absolutely. So your goal is, if I'm a new agent and you recruit me, you want to get me to sell a policy in 48 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Because it's like they have to buy into the vision. They have to see it themselves.
Right.
You know, so if I'm making money, that's cool, but do they really know it's going to be deposited?
Sure.
Right. So then they have to see it themselves. They have to touch the money themselves.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we forget where we were when we started. Right? You get started, you struggle. Even like we're talking about, like, oh yeah, no, I was struggling back then. But it becomes like a distant memory, and then you think like, oh no, I was always good. No, there was a time, whether it was a week, 2 weeks, a month, some people 6 months. But we kind of forget about that. And when we have somebody brand new, we have to validate that model in front of them, for them, because there's that window of belief that closes real quick. I mean, in order to recruit agents and have a team doing 800,000, I bet you lost a lot of people along the way.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Was it ever someone that you were shocked, like, oh, I thought he or she was going to be good and they quit?
I'm not going to lie. Nah, I saw it coming.
Yeah.
Like, I just can foresee it, if I'm being honest. It's like I still give them the opportunity, though.
Right.
Never want to take that away, but I foresee it.
Well, the red flags are there.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest mistakes managers make is they ignore the red flags. It's like, if you're going to be a problem, I want to get you out immediately.
Yeah.
Just like if I'm on the phone with a client and they're not going to buy, I want to get off that phone.
Okay.
Right? Because I got other clients, right?
Yeah.
How big has that been? Like, I know for me, one of the best skills I learned was when to walk away. Now, we were in home. It was different. So I'm at your house. I'm in here for 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour. We start getting past an hour. Now I'm late for other appointments, and I don't help you. Maybe you had no interest. Maybe I screwed it up, but now I screw up the rest of my day.
Right.
I need to know when, all right, hey, Kayla's not serious. You know what? Hey, have a nice day. How have you learned that on the phone?
I would say, so it comes with time, obviously. You have to dial those phones, and you have to really understand the art and beauty of sales overall. But when a client's like, oh, I don't have money, and then we're going over prices, I'm selling great value as well, I structure my call to the T, and they're still saying like, no, I really don't have money, I live on Social Security, whatever the case is, I will walk away from that sell. Yeah. Because it's not worth putting them in a bad position.
Right.
Especially if they already have something in place and they're just trying to get extra coverage. I'm like, well, you already do have $20,000, so that will be good. I can't beat that price. You've had it for 10 plus years. Just keep that. Right. You know, you're not trying to put these people in terrible positions. You're trying to put them in better positions.
Yeah. You don't want to write something that's not going to stick.
Right. Yeah.
Because then now you're going to get a charge back, and now the client is back to square one with no life insurance in general.
Yes.
I mean, that's it's the biggest part of the sale is, number one, getting them to like and trust you, and then finding something that they can afford.
There we go.
Once you have those two things, like how many, so you said day one, if you had 10 appointments, you closed one.
Yeah.
What's it like today? 10 appointments.
So I first of all, I set really good appointments now.
Okay.
So let's say I have 10 appointments. I could say I close about 2 to 3.
Okay.
But even with those appointments, just so you guys know, we only run aged leads.
Okay.
Yeah, we run 6-month aged mortgage leads.
Why are you only doing that?
The profitability.
Okay.
You know, you're trying to scale as fast as possible. Not only that, but it's replicable. So if you have agents coming in, it's the same script over and over and over.
Right.
And the profit is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, the appointments, we don't really set many appointments, one call, one close, because they are aged leads.
Got it. What's the biggest, have you called on new leads at all?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference?
I would say actually there's more like flips, taking people out of bad positions and putting them in better positions with age leads.
Okay.
Whereas if it's first chance, it's just the structure of the call.
Got it. So you're uncovering their insurance that they have, going through it, things like that.
Yes.
Which that's another thing that is huge. Like I remember the first time I left an appointment early on, and I was recruited directly by Sean. So I'd call him after my appointments, and he's like, "How'd it go?" I said, "They have life insurance. What'd they have?" And I said, "He's like, did you see the policy?" I'm like, "No." And I mean, Sean, he's like, "What do you mean? They didn't have shit. Go back." Like,
right.
But that is so huge to get the policy, because like, how many times has a client told you, "I have X, Y, and Z," right? Everyone has $200,000 of whole life, and they're paying $5 a month, right? And then when you actually find out what they have, it's not that.
Yes.
I mean, how do you do that on the phone though?
So I'm like, okay, so they're like, oh, they're 56 years old, right? Let's say no, they're 34 years old and they're a woman. They're like, oh yeah, I have $1 million.
Yeah.
And I'm paying $5 a month, and I'm
Right.
like,
Sure.
now Miss Cindy, does that sound right to you? And I was like, have you ever seen that policy packet in your hands? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, that's a red flag. How about we go ahead and jump on the phone with that company and see what you actually have in place?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you call them on three-way call,
Call them on a three-way.
and then go through it.
Yep.
And you have to, because 9 times out of 10, that policy is not what I could probably count on one hand. I sold for a handful of years where the client knew what they had in the policy, like probably once or twice out of thousands of clients. They're shocked. They're like, they pull out a policy, it's accidental death, it ends in 5 years. They thought it was whole life. Like it's never what they say it is.
Yes.
But you can't argue with them. They just, hey, when's the last time you saw it? Let's give it a call. And in a few minutes, the carrier will tell you exactly what they do or don't have. Mm-hmm. All right, Kayla, we're going to wrap with a game called Would You Rather. So if you don't like these questions, don't blame me. I didn't make them up, all right?
Okay.
So you're going to tell me out of these 2 scenarios, what would you rather do? Oh, first one, call your ex or door knock during the Super Bowl.
Door knock during the
Okay.
Super Bowl.
Have a client say, I'll think about it, or I have coverage through work. Which one would you rather deal with?
I'll think about it.
Okay, you like that one over the
Yes.
work. All right. Let's see. Trust an insurance professional or your uncle who once called Bitcoin the life insurance for the internet.
Trust an insurance.
There you go. A family first life one.
Yes.
only be able to do telesales from another time zone or only be able to do in-home appointments?
Time zone.
Time zone. Do you do that now?
Yes.
Yes.
We run Hawaii's, Alaska's. I'll stay till 12 a.m. sometimes.
So you're in Chicago area, central time zone, right?
Yes.
So you're calling Hawaii. What's the time difference?
5 hours behind.
They're 5 hours behind us.
Yes.
So you're calling like at night in the evening.
Yeah.
So what's your schedule? Before we wrap up, what is your schedule right now?
My schedule is I wake up at 4:30 a.m., go to the gym, go back home, shower. I'm at the office by 7:30 a.m. I usually dial till about, I want to say 1, take like a 30-minute break to an hour.
Yeah.
Might take a nap sometimes. You'd be exhausted sometimes.
Right.
You know?
Little cat nap.
Okay. After that, we usually run a meeting at about 2:30.
Yeah.
And then we're back on the phones till about 9 p.m. Sometimes I stay late if the numbers are not good.
Wow. And how many days a week are you doing that?
Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday. Take Sunday off.
Mm-hmm.
What is do you have a production goal for the week? Like you said, if the numbers aren't there, what do you need to sell every week?
Yes. So.
Or is it daily?
Daily. We have daily goals. Our daily goal is, so our dead drop goal is 30K, but our daily goal is 50K.
Okay.
Yes. Usually we hit, I want to say anywhere between 20 to 30. We're pushing for that 50, but I have a lot of new agents still learning, so.
And this is a team number?
Yes, yes. We're pushing for it, though.
Got it. And y'all are in the office together?
Yes.
Yep. How many agents?
I have about 15 agents fully licensed.
Yep. How many show up every day?
15.
15.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Well, this has been great. I can't wait to see you get your Hall of Fame jacket in January or February because you're on track for that, so just keep that pace going. But I appreciate you coming up doing this.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for checking this out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you at annual convention next year. Go to FFLconvention.com. Get registered for that. Kayla, thanks for coming out. Keep kicking ass. And we'll see you next week right here on True Talk.